Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Fit and Focused for Remote Work and Digital Nomads podcast. My name is Shurina. I'm a certified nutritionist, health, nutrition, brain performance coach, someone who spent a decade of their life in weight loss coaching, fat loss, weight loss, fitness, all of that, guys. I went through that and went to integrative health, brain performance, and basically how to do, feel, and look our absolute best, combining science, combining my experience, experience of my clients. So all of that I'm putting in this podcast and keeping you up to date to the recent research, studies, and of course, very simple practical tools you can use to improve some area of your life. Like, for example, your confidence, your sex drive, your sensuality, sexuality, your libido. And guys, when I talk about sexuality, sensuality, especially when I started talking about that, people would often ask me, like, what does it have to do with your area of expertise, productivity, health, etc.? Well, maybe not with health necessarily, but with like productivity and brain performance. And guys, don't you feel or haven't you experienced that when you have really good sexual life and your relationships are sparkling, or you might be not in a relationship, you might be single, but you just feel that, sexy and good about yourself, like really good in your body, about your body, doesn't it translate into boosts and improvements in all other areas of your life, from business to your learning, to your personal growth, to relationships with other people, not necessarily the opposite sex or somebody who you see as your potential sexual partner, but also your friends, your people around you. You just start communicating in a different way with this zest and this energy and, sparkle that flowing from you. Haven't you noticed that? And what I noticed these days, a lot of people don't have that. Their life is kind of, it's okay, blah, 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 blah. Nothing special, nothing super excited. And today we're going to talk about why is this happening, and if it's happening in your life right now and has been happening for a while, how to change that, what tools to use to change that state of kind of gray and an exciting life, and not also feeling all that good and confident, and also having or not having, that sexuality, that sensuality that makes your communication with the opposite sex very exciting. And again, it doesn't have to be that you're gonna go and get laid or you're gonna pursue those things. It's just that feeling that you have, that vibe about you. And that again translates into charisma, into being a great leader, a great communicator, into sparkling energy and in people all around you. Doesn't matter whether they're your potential mates or not. And so that sexuality, sensuality, it translates into improvements and boosts in all areas of your life. And also, guys, it's an indicator of your overall health state. Why is that? Well, let's dig deep, maybe not so deep, but let's dig into science right away. You see, that feeling of goodness or sensuality or sexuality, like feeling really good in your body, like you have a lot of vitality, that feeling is a translation of all of these signals in your body, that your brain accumulated all this data and gave you that feeling as a feeling of really great state of health. You're feeling so good internally and externally. Everything seems to be going that well that your brain gives you that zest, that vitality, that, you know what, maybe it's time to go and mate and procreate. Seems like we are doing really, really well. And we have all these internal resources, especially for women, guys, because we are the childbearing machines, so to speak, and our body during procreation experiences the biggest toll on our resources. Like, we are basically have to support another life, not the guy, right? Even though it also takes some energy for them to take care of their, babies and genes and also make sperm, etc. But for women, it's of course a different game. We are supporting another life. And so for women, our sexual drive and our sensuality and that confidence with that sense of vitality, it shuts down first when we are experiencing stress. Not so much we are thinking about stress, but our brain, and having analyzed all the data coming from our body, the state of our metabolic health, inflammation levels, stress levels that translate into different molecules in our body, stress hormones and neurotransmitters like cortisol or adrenaline. So the brain accumulates all of this data. And when it feels that we are in a state of stress, especially chronic state of stress, the brain shuts down procreation because your brain's first priority is your survival as a person, to preserve your genes. And maybe when the times are better and you're not that stressed, that's when it's time to procreate and give your genes a way to move forward, right, beyond your life. So what you want to understand is when the stress goes up, especially chronically for women and men, but for women especially, because again, for us, procreation is a much bigger task. It takes much more resources to support that second life in our body. So when stress levels go up, your procreation vibe and sensuality and sexuality, all of that, your energy levels, all of that goes down. So if you're not feeling all that zesty, all that confident, and all that flirty, the reason is, one of the biggest reasons is that something is happening in your body that tells your brain you're not in a great state of health and you're stressed out of your mind, and it's not a good time to invest additional resources possibly into procreation and then having to support that second life again, especially for women, but for guys also. If you are stressed out all the time because of your work, because of your business, because I don't know, some other issues, probably you're not going to be feeling as attractive, as sexy, as confident, and also you're just not going to have that vibe that attracts females and your potential mates, right? So stress levels and your serotonin levels through your body, but especially in your brain, if they're unbalanced, and by the way, stress lowers down your serotonin a lot, especially chronic stress. So the combination of those two factors, low serotonin, high stress levels, make you not feel all that sexy, all that vital, all that confident, and that, as you know, translates into more worries, more anxiety, not feeling confident, not feeling up for it, and you just kind of stressed and working, and you don't even have that creative vibe, it just kind of like life becomes very hard and tense and boring. I don't know, blah, and for some people, again, some people feel this tension. Some people just not feeling really excited about a lot of things. So sexuality, sensuality, it's a sign of a lot of things not going right or going super right. It depends on where on the continuum you are, feeling super sexy, sensual, and just, vibing or not. And so let's get to practicality and why all this, in the title, talk about vacation and meditation. So your sex drive, your vitality, your libido, and with that confidence also depend a lot on a couple of things. Well, first of all, serotonin levels. If your serotonin levels are low, you're not going to be feeling sexy, vital, and all that happy and getting out there, going after opportunities and potential mates. So if your serotonin levels, so we already talked about that, they are lowered by stress levels, but also inadequacies in your nutrition, not eating enough protein, over exercising, not sleeping enough, not exposing yourself to natural light, not having enough vitamins and minerals, also not eating enough omega-3 fatty acids. Actually, omega-3 fatty acids coming from fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines, and from supplements consuming 2 grams and above, it's a recommended effective amount. Not consuming enough all of that, or not, again, doing sun exposure, natural light exposure, not sleeping enough, over exercising, not meditating, and meditation boosts your serotonin levels. Not doing all of that, not consuming certain foods will lower your serotonin levels, will make your stress levels higher and unmanaged, and all of that gonna shut down your sex drive, your confidence, your charisma, and with that a lot of opportunities, not just in mating but also at work. Why vacation? Because on vacation, you usually relax, your stress level go down, you usually eat things like not necessarily fatty fish, but you eat usually seafood, more fruit, more vegetables, so you get more nutrition with that usually, although some people manage to drink and eat all kind of crap on vacation, and that, of course, not gonna make you feel all that sexy, although with boosted vitamin D levels still might be a huge effect. But that's why on vacation, a lot of couples actually feel sexier and feel like their sex drive is revived, and they just, feeling like vibing and more essential. That's because, again, stress levels go down. You get your vitamin D boost, you usually get more nutrition, you get more sleep, you get natural light exposure, you don't usually over-exercise, don't stress out that much about your diet if you're a woman who is constantly on some restrictive diets, right? So all of that pays into increasing your serotonin levels, lowering your stress levels, and that's where you get your vibe, your sexy vibe, your sensual vibe, your confidence. But guys, you can, and by the way, why meditation? Meditation is one of the most effective tools proven by studies, by research, to lower your stress levels when done consistently. In fact, meditation, especially meditation with breath control, focused on your exhale, making you exhale super long, that lowers your stress levels almost immediately. And with that, of course, you might actually, when you do this meditation, breathing consistently, upgrade your sexuality, your vibe, and just feeling good about your life, feeling confident. That's why I often talk these days that meditation is not just for monks, it's also for sexy people, because it allows you to manage your stress levels. And stress levels is huge when it comes to your confidence, not having anxiety and worries and racing thoughts, and not having higher and chronic stress levels. So meditation is good for all of that, and it boosts your serotonin. That is super important. Serotonin got its nickname confidence molecule, happy molecule, but it also is present in higher amounts in you when you have higher sexual drive, desire, and sensuality. And in general, serotonin seems to be one of those chemicals in your brain and in your body that, when balanced and you have adequate amount of serotonin, it seems like you are in a state of thriving, of vitality. One of indicators that, again, you can influence with nutrition, with your lifestyle, and then you get the boost to your sexuality, sensuality. So meditation, right? It lowers your stress levels. So practice that if you want to feel more confident, more sexier, sensual. So, and you don't have to go then on vacation to get that boost. So if you're a couple, if you want to revive your sex drive, or you want to revive it to start dating, for example, then do meditate, guys. It works. It will allow you to lower your stress levels. Nutrition and serotonin and stress. What can we do here? Omega-3 fatty acids, one of the very most potent compounds that a lot of people are under consuming. And omega-3 fatty acids, again, that are consumed either in fatty fish or in supplements in adequate amounts. What is recommended is 2 grams of EPA plus DHA, so So please read labels. Just getting some is not enough. Regularly consume, meaning every day. If you don't eat fatty fish, then you take supplement. You might even take both. That works even better. But make sure that if you are taking medications, then you need to consult your physician. Always make sure that you do that if you are on some sort of medications. So omega-3 fatty acids, what else for your serotonin levels to lower your stress levels? Very important to eat all of your vitamins and minerals. That's why I always recommend, guys, probably if your nutrition is not that great, it's going to take time for you to replan it, redo it, and do it consistently. So please do take good quality multivitamin, vitamin, and multi-mineral. Why I always say to take both, because regular general multivitamin usually does not have sufficient amount of very important for health and vitality minerals like magnesium or calcium, just because you need a lot of those, like 1 gram, for example, for calcium, more than that, especially if you're not consuming dairy products, and they're usually not in a multivitamin. Well, again, because some people's diets might be different, like myself, I eat a lot of calcium, don't necessarily need to supplement with that. Some people don't eat all that much, right? And that's why they don't usually put a lot of it in a multivitamin also, because you just never know where people are on their diet. So anyhow, multivitamin, multi-mineral, omega-3 fatty acids. And usually with that, you're already getting upgrade of your levels of zinc and magnesium and vitamin D, such important vitamins and minerals for your perceived stress levels on a molecular level, and they also help your body to mediate stress, to lower stress levels, right? Omega-3s, and then eating in general, a lot of protein, for example, serotonin, like a lot of your feel-good neurotransmitters, brain chemicals, and also a lot of hormones are made of. You need that protein, right? So eating sufficient amount, especially for women, like girls, females, if you are listening, if you're not eating protein because you're on some weird diet like vegan, vegetarian, you are compromising your reproductive health, your sexy vibe, your confidence, and so many things in your life. So please start eating protein for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 30-40 grams. For guys, of course, like, eat your protein. Not that, some rice and oatmeal for breakfast, add your protein there. Also, sometimes you need to add shake or, some other supplement, but make sure you consume enough amount. So eating enough protein. And then, of course, eating a lot of colors and fibers, fruit, vegetables, and lentils and beans and whole grains. Some people don't eat one thing or the other. Like, I don't eat grains, but I do make sure that I eat a couple of pounds or a kilo of fruit or vegetables. And I eat my beans or lentils for that fiber and additional vitamins and minerals. There is so much goodness in that you're not going to be getting from processed foods and products. So on nutrition side, that is very important. And then on the lifestyle side, what you need to do regularly is getting enough sleep. Preferably, it really matters on the same schedule, and especially between the hours of 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. It seems like if you are not sleeping at the time, your health, your stress levels, and brain chemicals that keep you motivated and happy and confident, they are really compromised, even if you are a night owl, believe it or not. And on this podcast, we already talked about how to switch your sleeping time and feel good going to bed earlier and waking up early, even as a night owl. That seems to be super beneficial for night owls when you actually go to bed in decent times. So if you have questions about that, just schedule the call. I'll walk you through a very simple protocol of how to switch your time as a night owl to go to bed and wake up early. Right, so sleeping time, light exposure, natural light also has huge effect, guys, on things like serotonin, dopamine, all of these good get up and go brain chemicals. Light exposure, it keeps you awake, alert, happy, and also helps you to sleep better, and also lowers your stress levels, like so many things. Your vitamin D, you get natural, especially if you expose more of your body to make that vitamin D through your skin. So light is so important for your mental and physical health and well-being. And also, not being on restrictive diets or some sort of super intense exercise program, because exercise is still stress, guys, for your body, especially again if you are exercising very intensely. You lift heavy weights, you do high intensity interval training. I'm not talking here, about yoga or some easy cycling. No, I'm talking about intense workouts and not enough recovery. That's gonna shoot your stress levels up, your serotonin down, and you're gonna feel tense and not stressed and not that sexy, essential, and confident at all, especially as a woman, restrictive dieting, it is a form of stress. And if you do it chronically, what you're going to get is chronic stress, and you compromise your reproductive health as well, and your skin and your joints and all the beautiful things about you, right? So restrictive dieting. And then the last thing I'm going to mention is eating processed foods, processed carbohydrates, processed fats, fried foods, all kinds of takeout with all kinds of fried stuff and weird ingredients. All of that gonna add stress levels to your body, gonna make your gut health suffer, gonna increase inflammation, most probably in your brain and in your gut and throughout your body. And all of that gonna make your stress levels go up. All of that gonna make your serotonin levels go down, and with that you're gonna get your confidence down, your sexuality down, your vibe down, excitement about your life. So all of these factors will affect how you feel about yourself, how confident, how sexy, sensual, desired you feel, and just this sparkle. You know why some people have that sparkle? Because they're in a good state of mental and physical health, and that's about it. And that comes from practicing those things, from sleeping well, from exposing yourself to natural light, from meditation to manage stress levels, right? We can say that, just don't stress out. Life will give you stress, from personal experience, especially if you are an entrepreneur, especially if you work remotely, digital nomads, you're self-employed, guys, life will give you stress. So the solution is to learn how to manage it using tools like meditation instead of trying to avoid life. So sleep, light, meditation, eating your omega-3s, eating your vitamins and minerals in the form of supplement and whole foods. Of course, food first, supplement as a supplement. Not eating processed foods, not eating fried stuff, not over-exercising, not being on super restrictive diet, eating your protein and all the healthy fats from things like avocados, fatty fish, eggs, and nuts and seeds. And that's about it, guys. Exercise, not too much. Don't restrict your diet. Be on an abundant diet of whole foods. And your sexy vibe will go up, your zest, your sparkle, your confidence will go up, and that will boost your life in so many different ways. When you feel confident, guys, when we are feeling confident, life takes on completely different colors, and we start living it in a completely different way. It's just very hard to fool yourself and always push yourself into doing things when you don't feel all that confident and excited. So make sure to put these practices in place to naturally feel good and confident and have this sparkle and see how your life gonna transform. But again, it all comes from your conscious, intentional decision to invest into your lifestyle and nutrition on a consistent basis. And I know this is a lot of things all together. And that's why more often than not, we will need help, like someone like myself, a coach who helps people to change their habits, their routines, to put in place all these essentials, right? But also if you're just struggling with maybe figuring out how to put it in a good system, use our free call that is available in the show notes, and I'll walk you through these things based on your personal situation. Guys, also don't forget to share this episode with other people who maybe your partners, who might be losing or have lost their sexy vibe, their confidence, and just they're feeling all stressed and tensed. Also in the show notes, guys, besides sharing this podcast, in the show notes, there is also a blog post, an article that I released yesterday talking about serotonin and meditation and how to boost your confidence by lowering your stress levels and increasing your serotonin levels through certain lifestyle and nutrition choices. In the article, you're going to find more resources specifically around serotonin, right? Like food and supplements and behaviors, not just meditation, but other things too. So check out the blog in the show notes, share this podcast, and book our call if you need more personalized help. And till next time, as usual, guys, eat better daily.